let's go over to begin our conversation about virtual meetings. That's the key topic for today's Supplier Stories discussion. Now, the purpose of this live stream is to talk to suppliers and get their point of view on the questions that matter to you, the buyer, be you, working for an SME, or maybe you're a procurement manager for a massive international retail chain. We don't know. Whoever you are, this is intended to be for you. And the best way for us to ask the right questions is for you to tell us what they are. So as we're going along, please do put your comments and questions into Facebook or YouTube. We'll pick them up all here in the column on my right-hand side, and we will put them to our guests later on when we get the opportunity. Okay, that being said, let's see if we can we have our first, let's introduce our first guest before we begin the panel discussion.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hey, good morning. So, how's it going? This is Ivy. Where are you calling us from, Ivy?
I'm coming from Guangdong, Dongguan, yeah.
Okay, Dongguan. Okay, that is not too far away from where I'm sitting either. So, yeah, that's great to have some local representation. And Ivy is a sales manager for Xingyuan. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your company? What do you make and sell?
Okay, thank you. Our company mainly produces the power adapter and the LED driver.
Okay, and what are your major markets that you sell into overseas?
Our major market is USA and Europe, yeah. And this year we also developed for South America.
Oh, South America as well. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So okay, that's Ivy from Xingyuan, and next in we have Mei Lin, who is from Quanzhou, Husan. Good morning. Good morning, Mei.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning.
Hi. How are you doing there? Your line is. Please speak up because your line is a little quiet, if you can.
Sorry, the connection is not good. Hello.
So we've got a slight audio problem on this one. We'll do our best to cope with that as we go along. So you're presumably you're in Quanzhou right now?
Yeah, we are in Quanzhou. Okay.
Okay, that's pretty far from here. How is the weather today in Quanzhou?
Yeah, it is quite good. How about you? How about
it's okay actually. It's getting for Hong Kong, it's getting quite cold. Just 22 degrees. So we're all wearing jackets and going, oh, isn't it chilly? But of course, it's not chilly. So, okay. Anyway, let's quickly talk about your company, Husam. What does your company do? Can you tell us about it?
Sorry, you mean our product?
Yeah.
We do many promotion products. Premium and scratch products made of silicone, soft rubber, plastic, and lithium materials. How to say, many OEM products we can make for promotional purpose.
Kind of promo products. I see. Okay, yeah, I can see a few of them in the background behind you. Yeah. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my showroom right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Excellent. And finally, we have, let's see if we get onto it. Hey, this is, Karina Xu. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Yeah. Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you. And the weather is very good today. How about
good.
you?
I'm doing okay. I'm glad we're having this weather chat. So we're all updated on around China's weather. Okay. And you are the sales manager for Luan Everpeace. Can you tell us about the company?
Yeah. Yes, I'm from Everpeace. It's a medium-sized enterprise, and we make knitwear products, and we do knitwear for women, for men, and for kids. And during this pandemic, we also make masks. Everyone mask, and it's a tough time for us. But we are now searching to finding new high quality customers now. That's it.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. So, yeah, okay, interesting to have so three guests from three quite different industries, which is great because it means you should have, in theory, interestingly different perspectives. And so I'm just going to remove the bit of feedback. We'll turn May's mic back on when she needs to talk. All right, so. Yeah, well, let's get this started. So we're here to talk about virtual meetings, much like the one that we are having right now. And so let's just, maybe to get a background on the situation, I'd like to ask, how have virtual meetings helped to connect you and your buyers during the pandemic? And, well, let's go to Ivy first with that. How have you been using virtual meetings?
Okay, thanks a lot for your question. Yeah, this year we started to use virtual meeting. Before we can meet the customer in our factory, we'll go outside for exhibition, but this year we couldn't. And in this April, we have a new customer who had a very urgent order. It's a 20-feet container. Our product is a power adapter. The electrical data is very important. The customer just sent us the deposit in 3 days without confirming the sample. But the lead time is very urgent. So we have worries about the sample confirmation and the electrical data. How to solve this? And at that moment, we talked to the customer and we said we can have a virtual meeting. We test here with our machine, and you can see as new virtual meeting. And the customer agreed it. So we set up a virtual meeting, and here we tested the electrical data, example the voltage, the current, and the high port. And the ring part, everything about electrical. And also we also check the dimension of the cases, the cable, and the DC jack. Everything the customer confirmed. Yeah, it's okay. You can proceed for mass production. Yeah, so it's very efficient. We confirmed and the sample tested data through virtual meeting. So it's a good experience. And yeah, so. And after that, we have more and more virtual meeting with the other customers, especially the new customers. Thank you.
All right, well, fantastic. That's that's very much a good news virtual meeting story there from Ivy. So I'm gonna let me just put May's mic back on. So what about for Chuanzhou Husam? Have you had a similar experience? Have you been doing a lot of virtual meetings?
Yeah, I think virtual meeting enhance our trust between us and buyers. Learning the order process and teach us communicate the details of the order. Then make the production more smooth and ideal. I think virtual meeting is very good. Especially this year is a special year.
Right, of course, yeah. The special year has really forced everyone to do virtual meetings. So, yeah, we used to, obviously, Global Sources, we used to do them a bit, occasionally, because we have many offices far apart, but nowhere near the amount that we do now. Let's come to Karina. I'm guessing it's quite similar for Everpiece. Do you find do you find yourself connecting with existing customers, but also how about new customers? Do you kind of have those initial meetings with them virtually now? Sorry, that's to Karina. We may have frozen. Or is just listening really? Seems like she's lost our video feed. That is unfortunate.
Karina couldn't see.
Yeah, she can't see us. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's reset her video feed. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that actually all three of you have probably had similar experiences, which is, but I still wanted to ask the question just to make sure, so we know what our baseline is like. And I think it's something that a lot of the people watching will also have experienced, this thing of having some use in the past of virtual meetings, but suddenly being forced to do it all the time, which is, fair enough. And not necessarily, well, the reason for being forced is a bad thing, but moving into virtual meetings is, seems to be proving quite useful. So let's move on then to something more specific. And actually, you've already touched on this, Ivy, which is that buyers worry about product quality. And of course, suppliers do, right? You really would not want to send out a huge order without at least having them check a sample somehow. So the question then is, when face-to-face meetings are impossible, how do you reassure the buyers that your product's quality is high enough? And well, actually, Ivy, you've already told us your method. So maybe let's go over to May. Let me unmute her a second. So for Chuanzhou Husam, how do you use virtual meetings to make the buyers know that you've got good quality products?
Okay, I think we can do like this. First,
So I think the audio from May is breaking up somewhat. Are you getting that as well? Yeah. Okay. Let's remove that sound until we can fix it. Okay. I'm attempting to operate the control room. All right. Karina is back in. Hi, Karina. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
That's great. Okay. Good. So, well, let's put the question to you then, Karina. So, when you can't have a face-to-face meeting, how do you reassure buyers about the quality of your products?
Yeah, when face-to-face meeting is not available, we can use a virtual meeting to show the customer our factory, show the whole factory, show the production process, and show our inspection process to the customer. And also, when customer is worried about the quality, we can show the pre-production sample to them. And, we are doing NICWEL products. And NICWEL products is the important things to direct it sell well or not is the fitting effect. And we can show them the fitting effect. And then they can determine by themselves it will sell well or not, and they will adjust their buying plans.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the factory tour. So, have you been doing those kind of live, just taking a phone around the factory? How do you do that?
Yes, we have take a video of our factory and show to our customers, and they will know our production process,
Yeah, I see. And right, and that's of course they can't, feel the material for themselves, but they can see how it's worked when it's in production, and that should give everyone the chance to see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know how Ivy has somehow managed to leave the room. If you can still hear us, Ivy, please click the joining link again. You should be able to come back in. Wow. Very variable set of guests right now. I also can't see May's video feed. Well, okay, the good news for now, Karina, is that you have this segment all to yourself. So we'll try to get the other two to rejoin us when the connection is reestablished. But okay, so then since we're here, I'd like to ask you, and hopefully, I think, well, as a sales, department person, you'll have a good handle on this, Karina. When is the right time in the purchasing process to have a virtual meeting? And I guess what I mean by that is, sometimes you should send an email. Sometimes you should give someone a phone call. When should you have a virtual meeting, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, we often connect with our customers through email, and but email is not always answered immediately, and but there will be many problems needs to be solved in one time, and virtual meeting is a good way to solve the problems in a time, and I think in the beginning of the business is the right time to have the virtual meeting, because we are not have business before, and if a virtual meeting, it will establish our trust between us. It will establish our trust between us, between we and our customer. They will know about our factory, know about our office, know about our trading experience, and then they will establish the trust to us,
Yeah, and that's
then we can go in our business.
Yeah, and thank you. That's a great answer, and I think it ties back a little bit to the previous question as well about being reassuring the buyer about you, the supplier, and also I guess it probably reassures you that they are a genuine buyer because, you can, how am I going to put this? Like, you can, if you are a dishonest actor in the business, it's possible to fake some things, but there are one of the things you can't really fake is when you're speaking to someone live, whether you know about your business and, you can tell from someone's answers about your various questions, whether they really know what they're doing. So I think that is a very good point. Let's see, we've got more chat in the production channel. I'm trying to get one of the guests back in. No, still not. So I'm quite interested to see how they're able to use the chat without being on the video in the link. Interesting. I guess that will be solved in the future. So let me see. And I mean, would you say though, Karina, that if you have a really urgent matter, is that a good time for a virtual meeting, or should you just telephone? Like, how long does it take to set up a meeting with all the right people in it if you have an emergency, for example? I'm not sure. Karina, can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I was trying to ask, is a virtual meeting useful when something is very urgent, or should that be, should you just do a phone call instead? What do you think?
Sorry, the webnet is not very good before. Can you please try again? Because I can't hear it.
It's okay. Yeah, we'll fix it in editing. Oh no, it's live. Okay, so I'm just saying. I think maybe virtual meetings are not that useful if there's an emergency. If someone needs to talk to you right now, maybe they should just telephone. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Yeah, maybe I agree it. I think a phone call may be a good way to communicate, but maybe a virtual meeting will be a trade for the future. Yeah,
I think that's certainly true, and there's questions about that coming up later as well. Let's see. Now, that's the thing about the trend is towards virtual meetings, and I think even if you don't want to do them in the sorting business, you will have to in future. Basically, people are just going to say, "Let's do a virtual meeting." There won't be an option for other ways. Now, for your particular industry, which is knitwear, of course, what are the strengths and weaknesses? Like, are there things that are, very useful for, talking about knitwear? And are there things that you find you can't do that you really wish you could?
Yeah, virtual meeting have many advantages, and it is very convenient, and it will save many time and money and travel cost between us. But in my particular industry, we are doing knitwear. And for knitwear products, hand fill is very important to us. And through virtual meeting, our customer cannot see it. And so we can only send samples and or through face-to-face meeting to solve these problems. And for virtual meeting, and it's really fast, and it's very easy to connect our customers. So obviously, it's a good way. It's a good method for the future, and it will replace some face-to-face meeting, I think. But face-to-face meeting is also very important.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm by no means a knitwear expert, but of course, oh, sorry, just lost my earpiece. But yeah, normally at this time of year, we would just have finished our fashion trade show in Hong Kong. And one of the things that you do see at the trade shows is people having these meetings with all of the, for example, the scarves in the knitwear section, all laid out on the floor, just holding them, talking to the vendor about, these different options, usually holding two at a time, feeling them while they discuss what they want. And yeah, that's not, although I suppose if you send them all the samples first, they can sit there with a box and hold them and talk to you like that, right? Yeah. So I suppose there is that. It's just going to be about postage costs for shipping loads and loads of scarves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's go on. Okay. Now we have. Oh yeah, that's again, we've sort of segued into the next question quite smoothly, which the next item is, how will you be using virtual meetings in the future? So, in the short term, by which I guess you mean in like up until within next year, 2021, when presumably the pandemic situation will still be in place. And then in the longer term, like 10 years from now, how do you think you will be using virtual meetings?
Yeah, just like I said before, I think virtual meeting is a trade for the business. And I think we will use it for the long term because it's really an opportunity. It's really a good opportunity to connect we and our customers. And, we are a medium-sized enterprise, and we have our own factory. But, most of our customers are trading company. It's really tough for us during this pandemic to, cause our profit is very low. And, so maybe virtual meeting will help us to connect more high quality customers directly. And we can show our products to the, customers all over the world. And, it will, give customer, the low price and, better quality, and also it will enlarge our business. It will enlarge our business. We just want to have a quick turnover. And so I think virtual meeting is a good opportunity for us in the future, and we will use it in the long term. But just as I said, I think a face-to-face meeting is also very important. So maybe it's a two method, and not to replace it complete, not to say what to replace it one or two. I just think we can use both of it. We can use both of it, and thank you. That's it.
No, that's great. I mean, do you think the virtual meetings will ever completely replace face-to-face? Is that possible, or do you think there will always be a need for sometimes to be in the same room?
Yeah, maybe, because really virtual meeting have many strengths and advantages, and it's really fast and save many costs. So so through virtual meeting, we can save many costs, and that's decided that we will use it more in the future. We'll use it more, and but I don't think the virtual meeting can replace face-to-face meeting completely, because just as I said, for our particular industry, face-to-face meeting is also important.
Yeah, that's true.
But we will use it more. But we will use it more.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, you're right. There are certain limitations to virtual meetings, as we've seen just now. Connection problems can be an issue, whereas in a real meeting, it's very rare for people to just disappear from the conversation, although sometimes at parties. So I think that's kind of bringing us to the end of the scripted questions, actually, in part because we thought we'd have more people in the interview. But let's see. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay, we do. Great. So let's see what we have. We've got some comments coming in. So Chunhin Wong asks, should companies keep immersing themselves in using virtual meetings or related measures after the pandemic? As I believe that solid sampling is still absolutely necessary, especially in the garment or fashion industry. So yeah, I think I suppose, well, as you mentioned, yeah, samples are so important. Are companies going too far in virtual meetings? What's your thought, Karina?
Yes, just like him said, and I thought the solid sample is very necessary during the garment industry, and virtual meeting can show the fitting effect to the customer. And show the whole fact, also very important.
I see. Oh, sorry, Karina's frozen for me a little bit. So let's see if she can rejoin us in a second. Oh, no, that's another frozen feed on my end. Yeah, same. Okay. Let's see if we can rejoin Karina in a moment. Okay, it's not going great. Oh, almost back. Okay, I think we've just lost Karina as well. I'm going to but Ivy is back, so I'm going to remove Karina and say hello to Ivy, and we'll see who manages to get back into the room. Okay, this is not quite the format that we had planned. Hi, Karina. Sorry about that. Your connection got frozen just as you were about halfway through your answer about that. Actually, since Ivy has managed to rejoin us, if it's okay, I'll go back and ask her a couple of those questions we were talking about before, because I'm sure Ivy is keen to share her thoughts. So now, where had we gotten to before? Oh, that's right. We talked about the product quality and showing samples. And in fact, that's what Mr. Wong's question here is about. Now, you gave us the example of the virtual meeting where you showed your product sample to your customer. So is there anything else that Xingyuan has been doing to reassure customers about the product quality when you're only meeting virtually?
Okay. Thanks a lot for your question. Yeah. In fact, due to we have the time to prepare the raw materials, like you said, the actual sample is still very important. But without the customer, the first stage confirmation, during the pandemic, if we send the sample to the customer, it takes at least 1 week. So in order to save time, the customer confirm the cases, the input cable, the output cable first. And so we can prepare the raw materials. And in the meantime, we still send the customer the sample for confirmation. And about 9 days later, the customer received the sample and confirmed everything is okay. So at that time, we already have the raw material. We can proceed the production. So we save time.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Right, so you have different, right, there are some things that can be prepared without the physical sample. So you can start work on that already. And then, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That probably works for quite a few. Good, we can, May is back. Let's add her to the stream. Hi, May. All right, everyone's back again. All right. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, things happen. It's okay. So we were just talking, I think you heard, about reassuring buyers about product quality. Well, Karina was sharing how with knitwear, you can send samples, but you can also show the fit just on video. Ivy was talking about how some things can be confirmed just visually and other parts done later. What about for Hussam? How does it work for your products? How do you convince people that everything is okay?
Okay. For this point, I think we will do first. We make a video or take high-resolution photo of the product from different angle to show to customer. This is the first point. And second, we will send real sample for customer to check directly. And third, what we do, we will offer some customers who already worked with us their company name and their products. We share the new buyer. We share to new buyer, and then they know better. They know better about us and about what extent and what quality we do. And finally, if customer's budget is enough, we accept third-party inspection. They can arrange the third party to inspect our goods. Or if they have friends in China, they can send their friends to our factory to check the product. I think for us, we can do this.
All right, thanks. Sorry, I was cut your mic a second there. So yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, May. Is that a lot of the things that we do, buyers do anyway, and suppliers do on quality assurance, those still work. You just have to do them at kind of one remove, so to speak. So your third-party quality inspectors, they're still based in the country where the factory is, and equally, other buyers are also still based in the country or region or whatever that this newer customer is. So you can do that kind of thing. Ask an existing customer to give you a reference to tell the buyer, yeah, these guys are okay. And similarly, if you know someone that's in China, for in this case, they can go and do that local checking, even though travel is impossible. So yeah, while this conversation is about virtual meetings, there are other avenues that kind of project beyond where you physically are. So that's great. And let me see, what was the other? I actually forgotten what the other question was that we were talking about. Oh, that's right, the future of using virtual meetings. So sorry, Karina, I'll leave you out of this one just for a second again. Ivy, where do you see, you personally, but I guess your company, using virtual meetings in the future? So, within the next year or so, and then beyond that, do you see virtual meetings completely replacing face-to-face meetings one day?
I don't think so. Face-to-face meeting is still very important. In this special stage, well, because everyone cannot travel, so we can use virtual meeting. Yeah, and the best way to let the customer trust us is every year they come here for once or twice to visit our factory, and we show their our production line, quality control, and all of the records, and so the customer can trust us. And meanwhile, if we have the chance to go outside, we also visit the customer. Yeah, because it's very important to have communication very often and let the customer understand us, what's the situation of our factory. And it's also very important for the suppliers to visit the customers, especially for, the payment is not in cash. In cash, we have to visit them. And so face to face, yeah, it's very important. Yeah, thank you.
All right, and also to May, in future, Chongzhou Husam obviously is using virtual meetings right now. What about next year, the next 10 years? What do you think will happen?
Okay.
Yeah, you are asking for May, right?
Yes, for May.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. I think if we next week, because this year is a special year, so we use virtual meeting. But for future, I think if possible, better customer may reach us. But if in urgent case, we can still use virtual meeting because virtual meeting it's convenient and intuitive, and it also decreases the cost of communication. The customer may doesn't have they don't have to come and take long time. So if in urgent case and if for long-term customer, I think we can still use virtual meeting. That's our thoughts. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So some interestingly slightly different plans there, I think. So by the sounds of it, planning to slightly scale back on the virtual meetings whenever possible, which is very much fair enough. As all three of you have said, there are so many advantages to literally being in the same place that whenever you can do it, you can see why you would want to. Let's see if there's another question from our viewers. Do we have another one, Bubba? Let's see what we have. So Hiram Kitdia says AR and VR meetings will be the future. Well, I mean, that's a comment rather than a question. Although AR, VR, well, I can imagine it. And what's this? How do you convince first-time buyers that they can trust your company via virtual meetings? Well, I think that was discussed a little bit earlier. Does anyone have a particular method for convincing the first time you've met someone? Ivy, you look like you have an answer.
Okay. For the first time, we have to have some basis. For example, before we could set up a virtual meeting. For our company, we have to send the certifications. For example, TUV-CGS or UL ETL certifications, which means our factory have the ability to assure your quality, which is safe. First, so we sent them some certifications. The customer trusts us. This is the first step. And the second, we have to send them a good price. And the customer then they will balance what and we are decide choose us or not. And that moment, so it's a good time for us to have the first virtual meeting. How let the customer trust us for the first virtual meeting? You know, here we are the real factory, and we can show them the core building of the factory, and then we can show them our testing lab, our production line, and our QC office, everything, and our warehouse. I think, you know, like a real visit, step by step, we just show them the status, and we do not need to talk much. Yeah, and the customer will decide, yeah, you are the real factory, your certifications are true. So I think the customer will have decision by themselves. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. And what about May?
Yeah.
And Husam, similar? Do you have a similar approach?
Okay. We do most similar to everything. I think the most important, we show customer the certificate first, and second, we show the production line, and then we can show customer our procedure, the QC working system, and let them know how we work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for us the most important is show customer. We can have online like us what we're doing now. We can show customer the production line and online, and show the product, the procedure of the product. I think, and show them what our big brand we do for our customer. I think for us, we will do like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so of course, QCing is quite important there. Although Karina, I guess in knitwear, it's not exactly like quality control in the same sense of certifications, is it? Is it different for convincing a first-time buyer for you?
I think we should choose a big level to use virtual meeting, just like global source. You can find quality customers, and you can find high quality manufacturers, and they will choose the best for both of us. And you can say the just like what Avi said, you can say the certificate, and you can see the factory experience, and you can see many things through this level, through global source. And so maybe it's a way to establish the virtual meeting. Just one part because first of all we should choose a big level and to use this meeting, not just for website. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also thank you for the promotional part for global sources. Yeah, so that's true as well. One of the things is, it's easy to, do a web search and find some suppliers' website, but if you find them on a more reliable platform, such as globalsources.com, other platforms are available, but I don't recommend them. Then you can, that is a sign of quality. Of course, you still need to do due diligence. You can't just assume that everything is fine, because things change. But that's a great point. Thank you, Karina. Any more from the viewers? Oh, we have something. Let's see. Okay. Assad Zaman says, I am working on a marketplace for a manufacturing concern businesses. Right. How can you help? We can't kiss customers virtually. I wondered where this is going. I don't know how are we supposed to respond to this. I mean, thank you for the comment. I mean, I think that's just reinforcing what you guys have said, that you can't, if you're not there, you can't. I really greet, get to know, shake hands, possibly kiss. It depends where you are. In France, that would be fine. So thank you for that. Any more? Or go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I think, like you said, we can't kiss the customer virtually. This is the 2 point. But during this special period, we do not have the other better way to meet the customers. So yeah, just for this special stage, we can have virtual meeting. After that, we can still kiss you. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So let's have the relationship first by virtual meeting, and then we can meet each other and shake hands and have big hands. Thanks. Yeah, it's okay for future.
That's yes, that's an exciting prospect for when the Global Sources trade shows restart. Hopefully next year, we'll see. Okay, any more to come? I'll put a comment in. Okay, let's see what that is. Oh, okay. Let's see. Antonio Tometic, it's very good. Okay, well, so thank you. That's good feedback. We can help to develop the market in North, Central, and especially South America with your company's support. Oh, I think that's Global Sources. We're looking to partner manufacturers. We're helping manufacturers enter an open new. I mean, this seems like an ad for his own company, to be honest with you. But that does raise a good point. So thank you, Antonio, for that. If you do want to connect with manufacturers in general, but specifically the three that I've been talking to today, so that's Xingyuan, Everpeace, and Husam, you can do that. In theory, their links should be in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it. And even if not, you can go to globalsources.com and search for them, find their homepages, and there's a little box just at the bottom of each page under the product videos and details about the company that simply lets you send them a direct message, and that is a great way to get started. So if you do want to connect with any of them, that is something you can do. Any more from the comments and questions? I'm getting shaking head from the producers gallery, so this is a good time to wrap up this segment. Ivy, Karina, and May, thank you all so much for joining us today. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you for your insights and expertise. And, well, we do hope that many of those watching will get in touch with you and, you know, do some good business. Thank you again, and goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Bye-bye.